Good morning, everybody. It's RM here from Positive Fandom and from the Burnettwork. Hope everybody is well. I am so excited to talk to you all about my first day at New York City Comic Con. Yeah, I'm in New York, as you guys know, and yesterday was the first day. It's Thursday, and that's the opening day of the con. And I did attend the con. I took off work and I went to the con on Thursday, the first day. So usually Thursdays are not very crowded. And that's one thing that I always like about going on a Thursday is that that's the best day to walk around and see every single exhibit there. And oh, yes, yes. Good morning to Irene Jobson. Hey, thank you so much for your kind words. Good morning to you, Irene. Hope you are well this morning. So good to see you. And also good morning to Tom Jr. Jackson, my moderator, collaborator, and good friend. Tom, you are a godsend. So appreciate everything that you do, Tom. So thank you for everything as usual. Um, yes. So, guys, I did want to talk about the con this morning, and I was going to try and see if I could share some photos, although I haven't had much luck doing that here on this platform. But what I was going to say is that yes, yesterday I had the opportunity to go and see, go to the con, walk the entire con as usual. Saw a whole bunch of things that I wanted to buy. I didn't buy anything yesterday. I didn't pick up anything because I wanted to go to some very specific panels. And there were panels that they were showing that I wasn't sure whether I could, actually make it for the panel, get into the panel, all that sort of stuff. So it turns out that I was able to make it into two panels yesterday for New York Comic Con. And guys, New York Comic Con is going to be going on all week. It's, obviously at the Jacob Javits Center in New York, which is in Midtown. It's in Midtown, and I go pretty much every year I can. Sometimes I can go more days than others. This week I'm going 2 days, which was yesterday, which was the first day of the con, and I'm also going to be going today. Today. So after I do this video, I'm going to finish giving my mom. I have to take care of her, as you guys know, and then I'm going to go ahead and oh, thank you, Irene. Irene, oh my goodness, you are so sweet for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Irene, for your generosity. You're always so generous, Irene. Thank you for the $5. I will buy something. I will. That is so nice of you. And I really do appreciate that. And of course, part of going there and of course buying things is really so I can support these creators and the comic book industry and this industry that we love so much. So I do usually pick up something, and sometimes I'll pick up something for someone else as well, which I don't mind doing. I also want to say hello to Penny. Hi, Penny. How are you this morning, Penny? Sure hope you are well, and welcome to the stream this morning, guys. As you know, I'm doing a New York Comic Con 2023. Oh my gosh, two super chats, Irene. Aren't you sweet? Oh, is it your birthday, Irene? It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Well, happy birthday to you, Irene. It is your birthday. And it is also Friday the 13th. So it's quite appropriate that is, well, happy birthday to you, Irene. Thank you so much for thinking of me. And also I want to say good morning to Force, who says, "What's up, everyone?" Well, what's up to you? Hope you are well, Force. Irene, you're always so generous. Irene, I really appreciate everything you do by being so generous. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh, hey, no worries. No worries, Irene. It's, trust me, we're not keeping score. Just nice to his name is my name too, Tom Jr. Jackson, just to give you no need to apologize. I so appreciate everything. And yes, Penny, welcome to you this morning. Hope you are well. Um, hope everybody's doing great this morning. And of course, I'm doing this stream about New York Comic Con 2023, which I've been attending. I've been attending it, guys, and it's wonderful. Thursday is usually my favorite day because on Thursday I can just relax, um, and kind of do that. So I was trying to see if I can adjust the picture, which I will in a minute. I'm going to adjust the picture, so that you can see kind of my thumbnail, because the thumbnail says exactly what I saw yesterday, at least the highlights of what I saw yesterday. Of course, Tom knows all about it because I usually text him when I'm at a con or at an event. So Tom June Jackson knows all about it. But for the rest of you guys who don't know, I did want to share that. And Tom, please do pop up your link as well to your YouTube channel, Tom, if you don't mind, Tom. Yeah. Um, anyway, guys, I did just want to tell you what an exciting time I had yesterday. And, when you go to the con, you never know what's gonna happen, which is part of the fun of it. Last year, I had an incredibly exciting time as well, but it was mostly dominated by a show called Outlander, which I'm a huge fan of, and also getting the opportunity to meet Sam Heughan. Now, I didn't meet any celebrities today, although if one of the celebrities had a meet and greet, I probably would have paid for that meet and greet and or autograph because I've never met him before, but that did not happen. So it's okay if this celebrity has another meet and greet later on, I will certainly pay for that and be grateful for it because, sometimes I feel that you never know. Even if someone has a show out, they may not have a meet and greet or an autograph or a picture or anything like that. There's no guarantee. So when you see it, you really need to grab it. Also, thing I was going to say is earlier this year in 2023, I went to Star Wars Celebration where I saw many of the same celebrities who were, let's say, at this particular con at New York Comic Con, and it was more money. It was more money to it costs more money to see these celebrities. So this is just sort of like their opening page. And where is it? So here are some of the featured guests that are there. They're there. You can meet them. You can meet Chris Evans. You can meet Ewan. Ewan is the one who I happen to Ewan is the one who I happened to see the panel with, and I had no idea that Ewan McGregor that I was gonna even see this panel of his. So, I went there yesterday, and I ended up in this panel, where it's kind of like spotlight on Ewan McGregor. But what made it so unusual, um, that about this, is that, he was not allowed to talk about his work. So Ewan was under SAG-AFTRA, and although we had a spotlight with Ewan McGregor, he couldn't talk about what he was working on. So it was more of a chat um, with Ewan McGregor, and he is absolutely delightful to listen to. And certainly I enjoyed it very much, hearing him enjoying all of this fun stuff with him. It was absolutely wonderful to see Ewan and to kind of, hear everything that was on his mind. He talked about a lot of his passions, which was motorcycle riding. And I'm pretty sure you all can watch the details. I'm pretty sure it was aired and it's probably on YouTube by now. But I did wanna mention that, one of the things I liked about it was just how relaxed and enjoyable it was to listen to him talk about different things, and he did say that he would have liked to have spoken about the work he was doing, about his, obviously, whatever he was up to, but he was not allowed to do that. So it was just a chat with Ewan McGregor. He spoke about different things. I guess he lives in LA now, but he used to live in New York and he's very fond of the place. This was Ewan McGregor's first New York City Comic Con. So he's never been here before. His autograph sessions and picture sessions sold out quite quickly. So, however, I noticed the reason why I'm kind of bringing this up is because it was less money, if I remember correctly, than um, at Star Wars Celebration to see him here at New York Con. So the price was less, and I think that's good because it makes it more affordable and more um uh it's like easier for people to have an experience with someone. So, and I know you guys have some questions. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, yes, Irene, I just decided to do this. I was speaking to Tom yesterday and I said, should I do a stream about New York City Comic Con? And I was very much on the fence. I wasn't quite sure whether I could do it. Sometimes when you go to these cons and you've walked around for 12 hours or so, you don't necessarily like you're exhausted. So you don't always feel like doing a stream. But I wanted to do a stream because I just enjoy telling people what's going on and what they can see. And if you're in New York, maybe you do want to go to New York Con and then perhaps see if you can see Ewan. But I believe his sessions are sold out. So, and guys, here's Tom Jr. Jackson's YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to Tom Jr. Jackson, who is an important part of the Burnettwork family. He's our moderator, collaborator, and good friend. We are all goof people, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to Tom Jr. Jackson's YouTube channel. He's got some great reviews out now. So you do want to check those out. Irene asks, who are your top 5 celebs that get a hall pass? Oh boy. Well, I have to say, definitely Henry Cavill is one of them. Yeah, and I was also gonna say, I'm also gonna say Denzel Washington, um, and obviously Jason Momoa. I'm gonna say those 3 right now that are on my mind. If I think of any more, I'll let you know. All right. So let's see, who else do we have here? Yes. Okay. But didn't RM go to okay, yes. Wow, those is kind of personal questions, Irene. Um, something, it wasn't a big so I do want to make this clear. It was a spotlight on Ewan, and he was in the regular hall. I think it's the Empire stage. So there's a lot of people in this hall. And I was pretty close to the front. So I was very happy just to even be there. Um, so he could not see me. So it was with a lot of people. Um, Tom and Brogu's here. Hi, Brogu. Hope you are well this morning. Yes, he plays Obi-Wan Kenobi. And yes, also saw him at Star Wars Celebration. And thank you for the kind words, Brogu. I do appreciate that so much, everybody. So yeah. And the other thing I was gonna say is he spoke about how he enjoys um certain things, and he how he got into the performing arts, and how his father, when he was a young man, uh announced him he would have to go up on stage, and he didn't know he was going to be playing, which I thought was amazing. Certainly we've all had times where our families have surprised us by saying, hey, you're going on. But he was also quite apologetic. I mean, he spoke about his tours around the world and how he rode his motorcycle, which he also enjoys doing very much. So it was a nice conversation that he had, and certainly we didn't want him to leave. But the room, it was only, I guess, maybe an hour that Ewan would be on, and certainly it was wonderful. And thanks, Tom. Tom says Ewan's uncle was in the original Star Wars. So there you have it. Thank you, Tom. He was such a gentleman. He was great. I do have a picture of him, which you can't see. I guess if I stop presenting, I don't think you can really see it because I don't have the picture. Let me see. If I stop presenting, it's kind of like down in the corner there. So can I make myself smaller? Can I make myself smaller? I don't think I can. Since it's just me on the screen, I don't think I can make yeah, I can. Okay, wait a minute. I will move myself over. There. Okay. So I'm mystifying myself with my abilities. Here you can see Ewan, he's just below me. He's below me. And you can see him talking while he was at the con there. And he talked about how he was a little chilly, so he had to go buy a sweater in different places he shops. But it was very different. And I did want to mention this. The actors are still on strike. So for some of them, they were not able to give us conversations about what they wanted to. Yeah, he does have that beard. He asked about how this one guy in the crowd who has a beard that's like all the way down to the floor, pretty much like a ZZ Top, even longer than that, maybe like a Gandalf length beard. Um, how he maintains it, and a bunch of men were offering him beard oil, and it was actually a lot of fun. He's very entertaining to listen to, and this was a great time, and certainly unexpected, and I really enjoyed listening to him. And that was one of the panels that I have to say was incredible. However, it was very different because he couldn't talk about upcoming work, and he wanted to talk about projects he was working on, but unfortunately he was not able to do that. And I think we all know, because of the strike, he's very limited in what he could talk about. But um um yeah, he still has a beard, and Irene says her husband has one. I always I mean, for so long, a lot of operators, and when I say operators, like people in the military, who are operators, like rangers, I guess, SEALs, uh many of them have beards. So I do recall seeing it reminds me, I always like call it an operator's beard, but it's not just operators anymore. A lot of men have beards these days. And Penny says it's also my mother-in-law's birthday. Well, happy birthday to Penny's mother-in-law. Happy birthday to you, Penny. And it is great having you here today as well. Um, Now, I also wanted to mention that, so I knew that the next panel, so because of that, I couldn't really say what he's been up to, or he can't talk about it. But if we look at it at Ewan's IMDb page, I'm sure there's going to be information about what he's up to and what he's working on and things like that. So it certainly was an enjoyable talk, a very unexpected, intimate talk, just about, as it's almost as if you were having coffee with him, and he talked about his favorite coffee place in New York, which I'm sure people are flocking to right now because they know he's here as well. So there is that. Now, it incidentally, I talked about some other people who were here for the con, um, and obviously Ewan is here for the con, and he does have, as I said, the autographs and everything that you can see. You can, if you purchase that, you can get his autograph and meet him and everything. But his wife, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, is also here because, as you guys know, she was in the Ahsoka series. So if you're here at the con, you can see her. I don't know if I can pull that up, but she's here. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. This is too much. Oh, I didn't know that lady was here. There's a lot of people here this year, and I was surprised. Actually, the thing that surprised me the most was that Rosario Dawson wasn't here this year, or isn't here this year. So I was kind of hoping that she might show up, because the prices to see everybody at this con are less, if I remember correctly, than it was at Star Wars Celebration. So as I said, you could save a bunch of money and still see the people you want to see. Yeah, she is here. It says guests of honor. She and her husband. Oh, thank you. Wow, you guys are so kind. This is the law. 7.99. I'm assuming A is Australian dollars, but I could be wrong, but I don't know. You are so kind. The law says, love your work, RM. I'll call my friends up at Time Magazine and vote for you to become positive fan of the year. Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. The law. Thank you for the generous super chat. That is really, really wonderful, and I so appreciate it. Um, Thank you so much for your generous super chat. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for being here. Certainly, it's wonderful to see everybody here today, guys. Um, so I really appreciate that, the law, and it's a pleasure. Hope you are well. Um, and I'm so grateful. Um, yeah, so yeah, I did want to kind of show you. So she's here as well. And I don't remember seeing her. I know she was at Star Wars Celebration because a friend of mine took a picture with her. They saw her on the floor. When I say on the floor, we were walking around a Star Wars Celebration in April, and she was there. Oh my goodness gracious. Irene, thank you so much, Irene, for that. I do appreciate the $2 super chat. It's the hoops for me. Thank you, Irene, again, for the generosity. You guys are the best this morning. Really do appreciate it. So grateful. Thank you. And there you can see Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She played, as you guys already know, or though some of you may not know, she did play Hera in the Ahsoka series, and she's here. So you can meet her. And, the prices there, I'm not going to necessarily talk about prices, but I noticed that they were less. Chris Evans is here, guys. So if you want to meet Captain America himself, Chris Evans is here. My mother actually asked me, my mother is a fan of Captain America. Mom is 86, and she's talking about Captain America from way back when. And I told her, I said, she says, is Captain, America, Marvel. Actually, it was Captain Marvel she was asking about, not Captain America. So I guess I'm wrong. She's a fan of Captain Marvel. And I said, I don't know if Captain Marvel's going to be there, but Captain America will be there. Do you want to watch Captain America? And and she said, yeah, I'll watch Captain America. So when I come home, not tonight, tomorrow, maybe I'll show her some Captain America movies. But I said, the real Captain America is here, not Captain Marvel. So she kept asking about Captain Marvel because she remembers Captain Marvel from when she was a kid. And you know how long ago that was, because my mom is 86. So apparently she's been a Captain Marvel fan all this time, and I had no idea. She never said anything, but I know now. So yeah. Um yeah, that is great. And of course, Tom mentions that Chris Evans recently got married. Yes, that is true. And we're so happy for him. Irene says my husband really likes him. Yeah, he's fantastic. Chris Evans is fantastic. He's a great actor. I think he really made us enjoy Captain America so much. And I think the other one is Tom Hiddleston. Now, Tom Hiddleston, you guys obviously know, and of course, Tom Jr. Jackson, and many of you are incredibly excited about Tom Hiddleston and the Loki series that is out now. I think the second episode dropped last night, and a lot of people enjoyed it. Um, while I was there, so many people were surprised that there was not a Loki panel, and a lot of people really wanted a Loki panel. But you know how it's going this year. Obviously, I'm guessing Tom Hiddleston may not have the opportunity to even talk about the work, although he's here. Some people, I guess, they were allowed to come and do this as long as they didn't talk or promote the work. So, yes, he is the star of Loki, but unfortunately, there's no Loki panel, which a lot of people were asking for. A lot of people were asking for a Loki panel, and then there's more guests and everything here in as you go down. I didn't necessarily purchase or seek out anybody else at this point because I knew that I wanted to see Daryl Dixon, Norman Reedus. Now, the funny part about Norman Reedus is that I knew I was going to I kind of looked at all the panels before, because you can look at all the panels, and I saw the panel for Norman Reedus, and I knew I wanted to see this Walking Dead panel. And this Walking Dead show, which I have been watching and have just been enjoying so much, has been amazing. So I promised myself that I was going to at least try and get into the Walking Dead panel, but also I wanted to look at another panel called For All Mankind. Now, For All Mankind is a show that a lot of us, and Irene, I'm going to talk about the show with Daryl. I'm going to talk about Daryl Dixon. Don't you worry, Irene. I'm going to talk about Daryl Dixon, and we're going to have it all. We're going to talk about it all. And as you can see on the screen here, this is really just my thumbnail that I made. You can see on the top, I guess that way. I can't do it. Yeah, this way. If you look this way, you'll see that there's something that says Daryl Dixon, hope is not lost. Now, I have so much to say about this. I can't even I can't even describe into words how good this panel was. And the panel was called the AMC. It's got like a super long name. Maybe I can find it if I search for it and describe to you what the panel was. And obviously, yeah, maybe if I look under the letter A, it'll be under there, and I'll pull it up so you guys can understand what I'm talking about, because this panel was like one of the best panels I've ever been to. So let me see if I can find it this way, because sometimes you can't find it right when I look for it or I search for it. Here it is. Let's see if it'll pop it up. Yeah, it says it can't find it. It's so weird. AMC, enter. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to pull it up and talk about this panel, because it was so incredible. And then I'll talk about some of the photos I have on there. So obviously you can see I took a picture of Ewan McGregor, which is the one that's right below me here. But after the Ewan McGregor panel was over, I went right back into the same room um, to to go to this panel called AMC Networks and AMC Plus present The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. Now it says that the time of the panel is from 4:15 p.m. to 6:15 p.m. And in this panel, you see, I've been watching The Walking Dead. I've watched every single episode of The Walking Dead. Yes, this has been the best spinoff, Irene. I agree 100%. I've watched every single episode of The Walking Dead of all their spinoff shows. I've watched all of them. So certainly this was one that I was going to watch. It was set in Paris, guys. It's like the most incredible looking thing. I mean, I'm gonna do oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm gonna do a review of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. That's the name of his show. Yeah, I didn't present it anymore. I'm gonna do a review of that show because it was just so unbelievably good. But I knew I wanted to go to this panel. This is the AMCC. I didn't do a preview. I normally do a preview show before the con, before I get there to talk about what panels I want to go to. This was one of them. AMC Networks and AMC Plus present The Walking Dead. So I knew it was a 2-hour panel. And it says in the description that attendees will be the first to see The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season finale. So, yes, Irene, I saw The Walking Dead season finale for Daryl Dixon, Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. I have seen it. I've seen the finale. It premieres on Sunday, but I saw it last night. So I just was like so excited to see it, right? And then it goes on to say, you'll see it ahead of its airing on Sunday. And it says there you're also going to be able to see chief content creator Scott Gimple, who we all know incredibly well, showrunner David Zabel, and of course executive producer Greg Nicotero. And they were on the panel, and it was unbelievable. You could stream it on and watch the panel. They don't have the pictures of the other guys there. I don't know why. Dalton Ross, I think, was the moderator. But I could be wrong on that, guys. But I think he was. But the point is, I got to see Norman Reedus yesterday with the panel. And do I have a picture of the panel? I think I do have a picture on my phone. So I'll just show it. I'll make this bigger because I didn't include the picture of the panel here in front of you guys, but I will show it. I'm going to show the panel here so you can see it of the guys here. And it's not a great picture, so I apologize, but you know, this is me. I'm going to make myself bigger so you can see it. So this is the panel. It's so good. This is the panel. You can watch it online too, guys. Oh wow, that's actually not so bad. And you can see Norman, Nicotero, Habel, and pretty much the whole crew. It was a fantastic panel. I can't get over how amazing it was. Hey, and hello to A Marcellus. Hi, A Marcellus, who says Comic-Con Day 2. I did so much walking yesterday. Yeah, me too, A Marcellus. Yeah, I did quite a few miles yesterday as well. A Marcellus, hope you're well. Maybe you catch me walking around today as well, because I'll be there. Good to see you. Yeah, so I did want to mention, interestingly enough, and Irene, I didn't know you were a huge Walking Dead fan. Maybe we could talk about that, Irene. Maybe we could talk about The Walking Dead and do something with that. I knew I was going to see Norman Reedus. And what's really interesting is that before the con started, he came out and talked to us. I mean, the panel started and he's like, hey, it's Norman Reedus. How are you guys? How's everybody? He's like, I'm great to be back. And it felt like the cons from when The Walking Dead was, you know, at its height of popularity. Like, this was really weird because his show, Daryl Dixon, Walking Dead, it's filmed in Paris and in France. And also, and part of it is in Paris as well. It's been phenomenal. And Clement Posey is in the show. It's been an amazing show. And you can kind of see a little bit there where they have the advertisement for Daryl Dixon, his show. And I wondered what this was going to be like because I do miss Carol. I do. But I'm going to be honest with you, guys. I really like Daryl in this show. I don't think he even needs anybody else, even though I kind of do miss Carol being there. But I feel like Daryl could hold the show himself. there's absolutely nothing wrong with him being the main person in the show. And maybe it's not absolutely essential that Carol be there. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Carol, but all I'm saying is that uh, Norman Reedus was amazing in this, and he didn't need a co-star or anybody. Although Clement Posey was in the show with him. Here's some scenes from it. I don't know. You can see the trailer and Sundays, The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. They had Mont Saint Michel. There was you could see Sacre Coeur. You could see Notre Dame. All of these different places in France. You could see it was amazing, and certainly Daryl was hardcore. There's one scene that even like freaked me out now. Uh to be honest with you, Irene knows the one where he is like, I guess, holding someone prisoner, interrogating them, and he does something to him, and I was like, wow, that's kind of brutal. And I just thought to myself, he's hardcore. Daryl is hardcore. I love Daryl. He's amazing. And yeah, they're just friends. You know something, Irene? I think Carol and Daryl are just friends, and I think that they connected because during the beginning of it all, they were friends, and she's been through hell and he's been through hell, and they connect in that way. But I don't really see, I mean, they're not romantically involved, so I guess they're just friends, right? Like, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yes, yes, Irene, you know the one where he's interrogating that guy, and it looks like he's just interrogating him, and then he does something to him. I'm like, oh yeah, oh man. And I'm like, I love this. This was such a good series. I think it really reinvigorated interest for me anyway in The Walking Dead. And Daryl was amazing. I'm just gonna. My name's Daryl Dixon. Okay, that's all I can show. I don't want to be pulled down. And it says hope is not lost. And it's interesting that they talk about hope is not lost. I think that hope was not lost when he came out there and started talking and saying how happy he was to be back. And of course, I'm talking about Norman Reedus was happy to be back, happy to show people to be there. It was amazing. And I do want to shout out A. Marcella says, you live in New York. Yes, including 1 star celebration. Good to see you, A. Marcellus. I live in New York as well. And it is great. Oh, really? Oh, wow. A. Marcellus is going to the Final Fantasy VII panel tomorrow. A. Marcellus, you are very lucky to be going to that. So many people want to go to that. That is exciting. And yeah, yeah, yes, Irene, you mentioned that your husband was playing that game. Certainly, Final Fantasy is a huge panel. You're very lucky, A. Marcellus, to get into that for sure. And there's so many great panels, right? Coming up. But yeah, this show was so phenomenal that I've watched every single episode. I did a few streams with the Outcast Creative, a very good friend of mine, Lance, who I met this year for the first time in person. He's a lovely man, and certainly a very talented creator who has his own channel. Oh, what are the odds of that? What are the odds of that? That is very funny. If that is Lance, which I'm assuming it is, although it could be some of the other Outcast Creative. You are here. Okay, Lance. That is very funny. Your ears must be ringing. Oh, Lance, I hope you are well. Of course, I'm talking about this panel. And of course, I was also texting Lance, letting him know how amazing this panel was. Lance, how incredible it was. Daryl Dixon, of course, Norman Reedus came out, talked to us, said, how excited he is for the show, so excited about everything. And it was just remarkable to see Daryl, this show. First of all, I saw the finale, as I said, but Norman Reedus came out before, and he says, I hope you like it. I hope you all are good. And then we saw the show. We watched it for an hour. It was remarkable. It was such a fantastic finale to this show. It was amazing. Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't, yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah, maybe I can come tomorrow, Lance, and I will talk to you about that for sure. I kind of wish you were here, Lance, because you and I would have gone to this thing, and honestly, this just would have been amazing. for you to see. It was incredible. The crowd it was just remarkable. You will not be disappointed, Lance, in this finale on Sunday. No one will be disappointed if you are a Walking Dead fan and you've been watching Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. And, as I said, Lance and I have spoken about the series a lot. We've spoken about it a lot. We've been enjoying the series a lot. I am so impressed with what they've done with this show. And it was such a treat to hear Scott Gimple, Greg Nicotero. Oh my goodness. Oh, hey, it's Science Lady. Hi, Science Lady. How are you? Science Lady says, my friend is at New York Comic Con. Love Ewan. Favorite movies, Train Spotting. I love Train Spotting. I love him in that as well. And hope to go to my first next year in the UK. Any advice watching live as I have the day off? Yeah, just make sure my advice really is to find other people who are going while you're going. Sometimes you have to go solo, but always reach out to your friends. That's a guaranteed way that you're going to enjoy yourself, because sometimes you can go to a con and the con may not be everything that you'd hoped for, and it may not be the experience you'd hoped for. However, if you make a date, so to speak, to meet up with a friend, one or two friends, or people that that usually is not a disappointing part of the con. In fact, it's a part of the con that really is quite enriching, and is actually the main reason why I go to cons, is to see other fans. So while it is true that I went to see Ewan McGregor and I got to see Norman Reedus and Greg Nicotero and, the whole bunch of guys there who are incredible, I really do enjoy seeing other fans. I mean, this is something that is so important. So that's what I would say is the first really advice that I would say is find your friends who are going, or find some other friends who are doing it, and communicate and kind of reach out to other people who are going to the con if you can. A World of Pajamas. Wow, that's so exciting that you're going to that con. Certainly. And I do have your email address now. I am going to reach out to you. Sorry, I have not reached out to you. I haven't been able to do that because my mother came home from her rehab facility. It's kind of a long story, but I haven't had chance to really reach out. But I will. And thank you for the £5 super chat. How generous you are. And so appreciate that. I love Train Spotting. I think it's great. He was in another film. I do want to mention Ewan was in another film. It's a little bit raunchy. Um, it's a little bit raunchy, but I love the film. And Eva Green was in the film with him. And perhaps you guys remember the film. It is a little raunchy, but it certainly was a great film. I think he's a great actor, and sometimes it's okay if an actor does a movie that is a little raunchy. The film is called Perfect Sense. And I did want to mention it, and I'm gonna just pop it up here so you can see it. I'm gonna pop it up here, A World in Pajamas. And if you're a big fan of Ewan McGregor, if you're a big fan of Ewan McGregor, hey, if you're a big fan of Eva Green, you could watch this with your significant other, male or female, it doesn't matter. There's something here for everybody. If you're a big fan of Ewan McGregor, you will love Perfect Sense. It is a fantastic film. It's got a great love scene in it. I recommend it to everybody. Gee, Ewan's such a great actor. Thank you, Ewan, for making this film. But yes, he has so many great films out there, and it is wonderful. It's wonderful to see what he's done. So I would recommend that one, and then watch Train Spotting, and then again, certainly enjoyable. Oh, this is very this is very interesting. Hey, Eucalyptus, nice to meet you, and welcome to this recap of day one for me for New York Comic Con 2023. Eucalyptus says, if we were all books, would Norman read us? Yes, he would. He would. And I like corny rhymes. I like that always gives me a chuckle. I like those. I love that. Thank you for doing that, Eucalyptus. Someone must have gotten the word out that I like those kinds of jokes and things. So yeah. So and I do want to mention, oh yes, Mom is great. As soon as I finish this stream, I have to give her, I have to do something with her, and then I'm going to head to the con for day 2. So that is happening as well. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Outcast Creative, where you can watch industry interviews with Lance, who is just incredible. If you want to see what's going on in the UK, especially, you will enjoy the Outcast Creative and these fantastic industry interviews by their creator, Lance, who is on the show. So please do check it out. Yes, Ava Green is the one from, what was that show? She's gorgeous. Yeah, she's stunningly beautiful. She was a Bond girl, right? Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. She was a Bond girl. Hey, El Profesoro is here this morning. Hey, how are you, El Profesoro? Hope you are well. El Profesoro, I was talking about my experiences at New York Comic Con today, yesterday, and I will be back, of course, again tomorrow to talk more about it. Guys, check out El Profesoro's channel. El Profesoro does Profi Chats on Mondays, which I usually check out, which are so enjoyable. And of course, I stream with El Profesoro on Insular Scoundrels. El Profesoro and I have hung out at Disney World. We've had such a great time. El Profesoro, great to see you this morning. Hope you and the family are well, guys. Make sure you check out El Profesoro's channel on YouTube as well. Oh, thank you, Irene. You guys are so great this morning. Oh my gosh. I so appreciate everything. Thank you so much for being so kind and being so generous. Um, I really do appreciate it all. And guys, I did see the final episode of The Walking Dead's Daryl Dixon. It takes place in Paris. As you can see here, you can see the Eiffel Tower. Guys, they do such a good job of a post-apocalyptic France. You will love it. It's amazing. It does have a French flair to it. Um, Here they're saying it's a 7.9 out of 10, which is not bad. Honestly, I think it's remarkable. Clemence Posey is really the co-star with Daryl in this show. Look at this picture. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? Oh my gosh. Look at this poster. Look at that. And now, it incidentally, after watching the final, which I absolutely loved, unfortunately, Norman Reedus didn't have an autograph session or photo session, or else I definitely would have purchased that. It would have been great to have seen him. I'm just going to flip through some of these photos because they're just remarkable. And this is, of course, some different towns. This might be Angers or some different towns in France, and they're kind of, going through the different towns. And it's remarkable what they've done to make it look worn down and beaten. And here's one of the co-stars, Laurent. This man plays someone who's kind of hunting Daryl. I'm not going to give too much of it away, but I had kind of thought that it was very interesting when you see him and when he starts to hunt Daryl, and I'm sorry for spoiling this, but I think Daryl kills his brother. It's so many episodes ago. We're way past the episodes in this, but I do want to mention that him hunting Daryl down, he was like, I will find him. And I thought about Javert and Jean Valjean in Les Miserables. I couldn't help but think of that. And I almost wondered if they were going to break out into this song about, whether you're going to have a musical episode, because that's how sometimes these shows have these musical episodes. I almost wondered if that was going to happen. We did kind of get a musical episode with what I called an orchestra macabre. There was this macabre orchestra and I'm not going to go too much into detail about them, but let's just say they were a macabre orchestra. Maybe they'll show it. And of course, there's Clément Posey, who is amazing in this. She just plays off of Daryl so well. They talked about the chemistry of the entire cast and crew. Of course, there's Daryl there, with his gear. If anybody's going to survive there, it's there. There is like a convent that's involved. Look at this shot. Look at these scenes, guys. If you like walkers, if you want to see something different and amazing, this is the show for you. Look at this. Oh my goodness. They must have had so much fun filming this. Hope is not lost. And, as far as I'm concerned, The Walking Dead is still alive. Just so many great scenes, so many great things. I mean, only in this show would they have a picture of Clément Posey wearing diamonds, guys. diamonds. You know, I love my tiaras. You know, I love to dress it up. You know, I love the sparkle and shine. And they actually have her wearing diamonds in the show. And I thought, thank you, Walking Dead. Thank you, Daryl Dixon, for bringing the shine on, putting the shine on. This was so much fun. Oh my goodness! Hey, look, it's Latino Slant. Hi, Paulie. How are you? I hope you are well. Hope your family is well. Paulie from Latino Sun says the DD series is really solid. Loving it. It is great, isn't it, Paulie? It's been so good to see what these guys have been able to do with a different flair. Nicotero talked about how the zombies, the people who are playing the zombies or the walkers in this show, are actually dancers, and that they would give them direction and that they would kind of fly and float all over the place. It really is very interesting. I think this cultural vibe that they have in France, especially in Paris, where they have to live and they have to have this freedom, and it was important. I thought it was so good. I thought that this was maybe one of the most beautiful Walking Dead seasons I've ever seen. And I especially loved how very specifically they have this message of hope, something I haven't necessarily seen in every Walking Dead series. They want you to know that this group of people think there is hope. There may be this potential cure, I'm guessing. It's just so amazing, the idea of hope and the idea of depending upon others. It was such an engaging, such a much more intimate feel of The Walking Dead for me. And Paulie, it's such a pleasure to see you this morning. I do hope you are well, Paulie. Such a good friend. And guys, do check out Latino Slants channel on YouTube as well. Paulie, such a great morning and so great to see you. Hey, a world of pajamas for another £5 super chat. Thank you. Says off topic. Have you seen the open source stuff NASA released to do independent research for Earth science? Anyone can use it. Love, Ava Green. Thanks. Yes, we should talk about that. A world in pajamas. You're the only person I know who wants to talk about research. So you must be someone who is certainly in the same area that I am. If you like to talk about research, which I do, but I don't usually talk about research on here because I'm not quite sure how people here feel about research, but I like to talk about research in any regard. We got a lot to talk about. I certainly would love to talk to you about that. And thank you again for the generous £5 super chat. I so appreciate it. It's just so kind of you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Um, yes, this is a good question. Um, and I'm gonna get to it, Paulie, because I did see your comment. Um, yeah, Irene, yeah, that was up for debate, right? But he seemed to feel there was this maybe it wasn't his brother, blood relation, but one of his crew or some of his crew, right, Irene? And he had this grudge against Daryl that was so strong. It was almost like he made a pledge to find him. This like he made an oath to find him. And I just, it was so strong, and maybe just so, as if he would spend every moment of his life in pursuit of him. And that's what triggered the Jean Valjean Javert scenario to me. So was it the girl? Was it the girl? I don't know. If so, I stand corrected, Irene. But it sure was very unusual to see how determined he was to get Daryl. He's gonna get him, but he doesn't know Daryl. And I'm gonna tell you guys, you're gonna love the finale. Oh my god, you're gonna love it so much. Okay. A World of Pajamas says, sorry, I'm having trouble typing as my dog decided to stretch all over me. No, it's okay. No worries. Yes, Irene remembers the orchestra. The orchestra, I call them the orchestra macabre, which seemed quite appropriate. Paulie is asking about season 2. Does anybody know if season 2 is greenlit? Oh, yes, it is. What am I saying? I saw a preview of season 2. While I was at this panel, they gave us a preview of season 2, a part of the episode. So I actually saw, it's called The Book of Carol, guys. Season 2 is called The Book of Carol. So we will be seeing Carol in season 2, and it's called The Book of Carol, only because that's what it said on the screen. And it's not a secret. That's not a secret. So I did just want to mention it. Yes, season 2 is greenlit. I believe, I don't know whether they've already filmed it. Maybe they did. I have no idea where it's filmed. Oh, and I did want to mention that Norman Reedus mentioned that SAG-AFTRA signed an agreement with AMC that allowed them to talk about the show because it was filmed in France. Um, I know I was speaking to Tom Jr. Jackson about this, trying to figure out if how he was able to do this. And Norman got up and did mention that very specifically, that they got permission from SAG-AFTRA to do that. So that's why he was able to come in and talk about the show with Greg Nicotero, the whole gang, the whole group of them, Greg Nicotero, David Zabel, and Scott Gimple, all of them. Now, I do also want to say something else. I've never been to a Walking Dead panel ever. So this was my first one, and I'd always wanted to go to the cons to see a Walking Dead panel, but I never got into one. So this is the first time that I've ever really gotten into one. And oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Irene. Says she did it on purpose, but you look better in diamonds. Thanks, Irene. I love it. I love all that stuff. Certainly such a pleasure. Yes, we are both scientists, if you were asking. Yes, we are scientists. Oh, and you're talking about a world of pajamas. Yes, we are. I won't know until after Christmas if I can do any research depending on funds. Yeah, that's usually the case, isn't it? Yeah. And because of funding, a lot of my research is mainly modeling. At this point, I haven't gone on any research trips for ages, at least 10 years. A world in pajamas. Guys, here is Latino Slant's channel. Do like and subscribe to Latino Chance Paulie's a YouTube channel. Guys, you're going to love his takes on everything Latino. It is wonderful that Paulie does his channel. And I've been on the channel a few times and absolutely had such a wonderful discussion with Paulie about entertainment and topics Latino. So do please check out Latino Slant. Yeah, it is very interesting. My research also is kind of focusing on this platform and on the YouTube community, A World in Pajamas. So there is that as well. And you and I have a lot. Okay. So there's a little bit more. Irene says, I think the girl killed him and Daryl is carrying the burden. Oh, thank you, Irene. Thank you, Irene. Thanks for letting me know. And certainly, there's nothing that Daryl could say to the man that would convince him that he wasn't responsible for his brother's murder. So he's got this tight hold on Daryl, and I love it. It's like, he's hunting him down almost. And Paulie says, wow, so cool. Need you on the slant to talk about the show. Yes, yes, Paulie. Oh my goodness. I wanted to let you know that they're talking about possibly doing one of the seasons in South America. This was something that they said during the panel, just so you know. So it is really interesting that they are taking this international take on The Walking Dead now even further. And I'm so excited. This was such a great show, Paulie, and everybody who's watched it. I just am so blown away with the performances. Of course, Clement Posey is a fantastic actress here. There she is in the middle. And I couldn't get enough of Daryl in this. I couldn't get enough of Daryl. I think that the show certainly showcased Daryl in a very different light than I had seen him before. And when I say that, it was just him. It was just Daryl. This feature felt very much, sort of like a character study on Daryl, and he was remarkable. He really just was so incredibly nuanced and intuitive, and even he, I think, I think that if anything, it really showed how kind Daryl is. And I'm going to say that because I always knew he was a good guy, but he really is incredibly gracious and kind. And I love that we're getting to see even more of his kindness, and it does make a difference even in this world of death pretty much. um I think that his level of kindness does show that even when things might appear hopeless, that there's hope, and that kindness is the way. So this was really an incredible he was incredible. Norman Reedus talked about one scene where he was with the young actor who plays Laurent, and how, and of course, guys, you can query all this anyway, but he talked about how he did the scene with one of the young actors, and how, he started to yell at him, and the young actor was like crying. And just, it was just incredible to see the relationships that, bringing The Walking Dead out of its normal area, let's say in the United States, to another country. It is interesting to see that. And apparently the show is doing very well over there. Um, yeah, that's a whole nother discussion. Um, Irene. Uh I can't necessarily get too specific because I'd have to go give you some background. So, which I will in the future. But Irene, I promise you, I will let you know. Um, Take care, a world in pajamas. So good to see you this morning. Um, I have food delivered too. So I don't know if that's what you mean by your shopping is on its way. And certainly, um, yeah. Oh, really? Thank you. RM has her own super chat video on this link. Yes, yes, it's RM. Polly, I absolutely love that you did that. Thank you so much, Polly. Such a pleasure to see you. um, okay, so yeah, Irene was like, it's sort of, yeah, it is. It was a nice twist though, right, Irene? Um, it was a nice twist because they didn't make it seem as if it was so cut and dry, ordinary situation. There were a lot of shades of gray. There were a lot of shades of gray here in the series. Here's another character talking to Daryl. So many interesting things that happen here. There are a lot of fight for your life situations too. If you like that part of The Walking Dead where people are pretty much fighting for their lives, you're going to see that. You're going to see that a lot, and it doesn't disappoint. I think that they spent a lot of time trying to figure out the best way to show scenarios in this in The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon show, and I think they succeeded just in an incredible manner. It just was so, as I said, I think this was the most beautiful version of The Walking Dead that I've ever seen. And certainly what made it sweeter was the message of hope. And seeing the finale, that was also incredible. And then after the finale, the panel spoke, I'd say about an hour. It felt like an hour. Which was wonderful to see them talk for that long. I was very happy. I'll show you the panel again. This is, of course, just my picture. You could see it online, guys. It's not anything that you can't see anymore. But there's Scott Gimple and Greg and Catero, and of course Norman Reedus there, and the other guy whose name that I can't remember, but I've said his name so many times. Um, I think it is very interesting. Uh, yeah, definitely. And it's funny, he didn't talk about that, but yeah, I'm not surprised. Um, uh, I'm not surprised. He didn't talk about that part. He talked about next season, where they might be going, what they might be doing. Um, there was a message from, of course, Carol there, and she, like I said, they showed us a preview of season 2, which was wonderful to see the preview. So good. And I even got a picture of Norman Reedus, and you guys can kind of see the picture here. It's not a great picture because the lights were not, they didn't have the lights illuminated on the stage. So if you look down there, not the Ewan McGregor one, not me in the center, but the one on the right, the bottom right, that's my picture of Norman Reedus. So after the panel was over, because it was like a long panel, it says 4 to 6. After the panel was over, don't you know Norman Reedus was in that stage, in that room, for almost 30 minutes signing autographs for people and taking photos with them? He spent almost 30 minutes doing that. And it was amazing that he did that. I wanted to show that picture in the bottom right of your screen that you see. You're going to see, it's not a great picture of Norman Reedus, but that is Norman Reedus. The bottom center picture is me sitting in the, I'm sitting there waiting for the show to start. But the bottom right picture with Norman Reedus signing autographs he did a lot of them. He did a lot of autographs. He did a lot of pictures of people. It was amazing. And I think maybe he didn't have enough time to do a panel, excuse me, an autograph session or a photo session. Maybe he didn't have enough time to do that. But even I have to give him credit for taking the time out to speak to fans, to take autographs from fans, to give fans autographs. He must have done about 100 of them, and it had to be about 50 or 60 photographs he took of fans. He took their cameras, and did selfies with fans. Excuse me for burping. I was so touched by the fact that he did that. I didn't get an autograph, but I just watched him and I'm like, this guy's amazing. He did not want to leave. He did not want to leave the stage. And this is not a bad thing. But the organizers are like, you have to leave the stage now because we have another panel coming up, which was the Blumfest, which I didn't stay for. But I did want to mention that Norman Reedus is amazing. This man is amazing. He really, I think, um, kept the spirit of the con alive. I think that he, I can't remember everything he said, but you can go on and listen to what he says. But I was just so impressed with what he's done. And maybe this is there's like an IMD thing about what he's doing here, but um, I'm trying to stop it. I don't. Okay. Um, I was so impressed with how the respect that he had for the fans and how he wanted to. He didn't want to stop. He didn't want to stop this presentation. He felt it was important for him to connect with the fans. He felt it was important for him to be there and continue doing this. I think that that shows a lot about a person's, like he had time, but also about the character. Yes. And hey, Thomas Bartoldi. Irene says, I heard the walkie-talkie message from Carol. Yes. Yes. And we got to see a little bit of that. We got to see a little bit of that. We got a preview of season 2. What a great show this was. What a great panel. It was amazing. Delta Ray Studios for KAL says, morning, all great Comic Con. Yes, it was amazing, guys. Go back and watch the first hour of this. I didn't even know I would be on here for an hour. 30 minutes is a lot. One day I'll take a pic with yeah. That's right, Irene. One day we will. We certainly will. 30 minutes is a lot, right, Irene? These guys are busy. He took the time out to make sure that fans got a chance to. I mean, I've never spent that much time with a celebrity like that, just even on the casual. This is a few hours. It's like almost 3 hours. I think the thing was over at 7 o'clock. It was supposed to end at 6:15 or something like that. The schedule was 6:15, I think. We were out of there by 7. So we were there from 4:15 to 7 p.m. It was incredible. I can't get over. I'm just so pleased as punch that I got a chance to go to this. I think this guy, Norman Reedus, is fantastic. You rock, Norman Reedus. You rock. He's amazing. If you guys get a chance to see Norman Reedus, go and see him in whatever he does. If you like The Walking Dead and you stopped watching it because you didn't like the show anymore, start watching the new Walking Dead show that Norman Reedus is in called Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. Guys, go ahead and watch that show. You're going to love it. I'll go back to it. Just you can see some of that incredible shots there. If you like Paris, if you like Paris, if you're like me and you love Paris, you love France, go ahead and watch The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. Season 1 is set in France. If you like France, you will love this. Go ahead and watch it. Break out a bottle of wine and watch season 1 of The Walking Dead. In fact, when I review this season, and talk on it in the next streams. It's a little early for wine because I think it's like, what time is it now? It's 9:30. But when I finally do review, no worries, Pig Riser. Hey, Pig Riser, how are you? Good to see you this morning. It's a pleasure to see you this morning. Says you'll pass on the show. I understand, but it's good to see you regardless. How are you, Pig Riser? Hope you are well. The next time I review this show, The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, I'm going to drink wine. I'm going to have a glass of wine. because it felt like you were on, it's like taking a trip to France. It has all the best of everything if you like that sort of thing. So do check it out. This was one of the best panels I've ever been to. As I said before, I didn't know I was going to enjoy myself this much at this panel. Like I said, Daryl Dixon, Norman Reedus plays such a great character with Daryl Dixon, and getting a chance to see the season finale before everybody else could, as well as a preview of season 2, was remarkable. Ewan McGregor was remarkable, absolutely charming and fun. He does have autographs that you can see, you can get at Comic-Con, although I think they're sold out, as well as photo ops. His wife, also Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays Hera in the Star Wars Ahsoka series, is here as well. Um, and World of John says, I might have a glass of wine tonight. Very good. Then cheers to you for tonight. I want to thank Tom Jr. Jackson for being the moderator, collaborator, and good friend that he always has been here on the Burnettwork. A huge part of the Burnettwork family. And I also want to thank everybody who gave super chats today. Irene for her $2 super chat. Again, for another $5 super chat, encouraging me to buy something at the con. The Law says, loving my work, for an Australian $7.99 super chat. And thank you, The Law, for that. Irene with another $2 super chat. Oh my goodness, Irene, you're so generous today. I love you too, lady. um, a World of Pajamas for a £5 super chat. My friend is at New York Comic Con. And as I said with the advice, reach out to others who are going. I loved Train Spotting. Do check out Perfect Sense with Ewan and Ava Green. You will not be disappointed. A World in Pajamas, who also says the NASA research stuff. And I will get back to you on that research stuff. A World in Pajamas for another £5 super chat. So generous, you guys. You guys are the best. I love this community that we have here. It certainly is wonderful to see you all. And it certainly is wonderful to be talking about this stuff that we love so much, guys. And thank you for joining me here this morning on Positive Fandom on the Burnettwork to talk about New York Comic Con 2023, the first day of the con, where I had the pleasure of going to a panel that has obviously Ewan McGregor. I can move my picture over. The Ewan McGregor panel, which was phenomenal. The man is such a charmer and such a pleasure to be around. Even in his presence, I just really enjoyed hearing Ewan talk about anything. I'm so eager to go and get a cup of coffee with Ewan McGregor, guys. So that was absolutely wonderful, as well as Norman Reedus and Greg Nicotero, of course, in that panel, along with David Zabel, who was the showrunner and creator, I think, of this particular one, and Scott Gimple. It has been amazing to see this panel, to watch the season finale of Daryl Dixon, Walking Dead, as well as the season 2 preview. It's amazing. Guys, thank you so much for being here and supporting the Burnettwork, supporting Positive Fandom. Thank you for all the super chats. And certainly Tom Jr. Jackson, as I said before, we are all good people. Tom Jr. Jackson, my moderator, collaborator, and good friend. I want to wish you all a wonderful day or afternoon, evening, wherever you may be, guys. And remember, guys, remember, no matter where you are in the galaxy, everybody, always remember to please be kind. Take care, everybody.